Okay. Okay, so this was the first Satoru deck we played, and I also think it was the best one after a long foray into other shells. I ended up wanting to come back with some updates. I ended up feeling like we wanted to play mostly like Teferi over Muldrifter, where it pitches to Solitude and Subtlety, which is really nice, and then also gives us outs to Leyline of the Guild Pact game one, which I thought was a big problem with the other build, as we were pretty cold to Leyline Scion, which is not as important in the metagame right now, but just kind of in general, so I think that's kind of nice. I think that this deck has a lot of tools against Yawgmoth and Titan, which I think is a very, very good place to be at the moment. I was also really liking Stoneforge Mystic. I think maybe something some people miss about this deck too is it's like you just have 8 really good 2-mana card advantage cards, where Stoneforge for Coat is just kind of crazy in this Ephemerate shell, and then Cryptic Coat also triggers Satoru, so there's like some nice overlapping synergy there. And then it's also when you have these Cryptic Coats, and you also have Satoru as a card draw engine, like, despite Muldrifter being a really, really powerful card with Ephemerate and Persist, it was just kind of too high on the curve, so we get to play some cheaper interaction. I'm splitting right now, 2 push, 2 pending, 1 Thoughtseize. Playing only 1 Thoughtseize, I know it looks weird, but like, consider you just kind of don't want to be drawing multiple Persist that often. Okay, game 1 on the play in the blind, let's keep. Get the everything up to date too. Swamp, Thoughtseize. Didn't the Hideaway deck could be broken, or if I cooled on it a bit. I think it still could be broken, because it's just like, again, the formula is like fast, consistent, and hard to interact with, and is doing a pretty broken thing. So it has the potential to be. So far in my testing, I don't think that it is, but I don't think that it is. I think that the Convoke build seemed pretty good. I think that the Artifact build may be better on paper than in practice. Something we could still work on some. Persist seems enough better than the average top deck here. I can like cycle Troll and Surveil Land this turn. Mardu Hideaway playing Seasoned Pyromancer Bowmaster. That's very cool. Yeah, like maybe going a bit bigger on the Hideaway stuff is just the way to do it. Okay, Cyclone for a Swamp. Let's get a Watery Grave so we can hardcast Subtlety. Alright, let's keep this on top. Surf and Pocket You. Thank you for the 19 months. Long time. Appreciate you. But yeah, what mostly had me excited about the Hideaway deck is it just is doing really broken things. You know, it's casting these really expensive spells without paying their mana cost, and there's some nice overlap. Please get more 5-0s. I gotta gamble my points to answer my Gleaner question. What is a Gleaner? Farmstead Gleaner. Whenever someone like asks me about a card, I have no idea what it does. I like, always have to read it. So, oh, whoops. Both Coats Thoughtseize. So untap, put a counter on the Gleaner. So this goes infinite with Incubation Druid. I feel like you just want to play Fairy instead because it's 1 mana, has Ward 2. It's searchable off Ranger Captain. Quality is just a lot higher than this 3-drop. Opponent may want to take the Subtlety so that they can Profane Tutor for Karn, but they would just Profane Tutor for Ring instead, I think. The untap part can't be responded to. I think not being able to be responded to doesn't matter as much, but because you could also just respond with another untap if you just have an extra mana. They took Persist. That's interesting. Do they have a land? So they have Reprieve in their deck, I guess. They suspend another Profane Tutor. Imagine me draw Teferi right here. So let's leave up Stoneforge Activation / Hardcast Subtlety. If they have a land, they're probably going to tutor the One Ring. Could be for Dam. Maybe. You're still a Cabal Coffers deck, so playing non-swamps is like pretty tough. I think Reprieve is like the most common card you're splashing for. Cleaved Path of Peril. Yeah, Cleaving Path of Peril is pretty relevant in Coffers. You have that extra mana. Huh. I have not seen an unmarked grave in Modern in a long time. They graveyard a Sundering Titan. Sheesh. And so their next tutor here can find them Persist. So unless we find Teferi? We're cooked. That being said, I wonder if persisting a Sundering Titan is enough to win. I'm going to be able to pick up the coat, bounce it, still have 2 mana available. It may be better for me to just hardcast Subtlety instead of picking up the coat and bouncing it, so that I can get them for 6 down to 7 here. Which I guess would have been, if I was going to do this, which I probably should have just been locked in on. Hitting them for 1 more would have been pretty relevant, huh? Because then they're just on a 2-turn clock. Are the pathways here surely not mostly for Sundering Titan, but they're kind of interesting with Sundering Titan, right? Where you don't have to kill your own stuff all the time or ever. Don't have that many fetchables left. Is it just the basics? I think it's just the basics. Is it worth to play Triumph deck? I said this for the last deck too, but it is tough to be playing Triumphs in a Surveil Land world. One day we'll play against an opponent who can take game actions at a reasonable pace. PD with the 23 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. I'm gonna take 6. Make it Damnation here. Okay, let's go to game 2. Okay, so they are Reanimator Coffers, maybe. They have Profane Tutors, so Coffers is likely a low. We'll see. I've got a couple unlicensed Hearse. Ashiok shuts down Unmarked Grave and Profane Tutor, in addition to any fetch lands that they might have, in addition to being Graveyard Hate. In addition to pitching to Subtlety and Grief, so seems good. We drew both of our pushes. It's got all the 1-mana removal. Tishana's Tidebinder is the kind of card I usually like in these kind of matchups. I feel like there's a good chance I'm going to play Tishana's Tidebinder over the Solitudes. If they have creatures I need to remove, I still have Assimilation Aegis, although maybe I'm wanting to bring in a different equipment instead. I also have Teferi Time Raveler. I also have Subtlety. Let's play more than 0 Solitudes. Let's play 1, which is, more than 0. Let's play only 1 Ashiok, I think, and then let's cut the Aegis, and then play either Feast and Famine or Kaldra. Feast and Famine can be awkward against a Reanimator deck, but holding up the mana is super nice. They're playing white also, so if they have Prismatic Ending, the Kaldra is not that good. So let's maybe give them some credit for exile-based removal. Seymour McFly, thank you for the Twitch Prime. Appreciate you. Am I playing in this Sunday Standard Super Qualifier? I don't know. Mom, 34 months. Thank you. Welcome back. On play. Pretty mana-intensive hand with no sideboard cards. Mana-intensive hands with Stoneforge Mystic could be okay. I'm going to go to 6. Okay, Teferi did seem pretty good against them. Let's keep this one. What's on a mold of 5? Mold of 4. Mold of 4? This time I consider blue-black control with Ashiok as main win con. I still feel like it'd be on the low end of reasonable. Probably the low end. the thing about win cons in like your modern control decks is they just get to be so incidental. Like you have like a Kihira, you have Solitude, you have Subtlety, you have creature lands. It's just, you know, you don't really need to be. You don't need to be this picky. Okay, null to 4, Thoughtseize you. Like playing something that like in a lot of matchups is just gonna be 3 mana mill 20 is tough, where just gonna kill them super slow. And spending 3 mana to not impact the board, it's like, you know, you could just win with like literally any other thing almost. Alright, double tap land. Yeah, 3 cards in your hand, opponent. Let's keep this hearse. Let's see if they cast Unmarked Grave. Did I see the points you're doing for seeing your next card? I'm scrolling up. I sang like an hour ago. Very briefly. I think you're baiting me. Concealed Courtyard is interesting. I wonder if they're like playing Pox. I'm gonna hearse my Teferi and my Strand here. So let's see how weak to hearse they are. They get to resolve their Profane Tutor. Been a little bit flooded both these games. 4 cards in their hand. They cast Night's Whisper, which is a little bit surprising. Plays a tapped Concealed Courtyard. Doesn't seem like, maybe I should be less in on the subtleties. I think I'm just gonna hearse and then untap. I think they're a Smallpox Reanimator deck, although I guess we get to confirm what's going on over there. Should have kept a troll to just hard cast. But it probably has Cling to Dust. No. Alright, grabs a swamp. Massacre Worm, Persist, Sundering Titan. Okay, well we'll take the Massacre Worm. I don't know. I guess. Play Swamp. Sundering Titan, Persist, Mystery card. My only my opponents have like maybe one option available to them, and it's still like, let's tank real quick. Maybe not only mine, huh? Are they playing covers? I wouldn't be surprised if they had the card Cabal covers in the deck. I think I'm gonna save the Subtlety too. Only playing 2 Surveil lands. Yeah, we've heard some play. We got to play a single relevant spell this game. Let's get this going. It's a pretty relevant spell, though. Persist, Sundering Titan, 3 mystery cards. My opponent is casting Damnation. Resolves. Not worth a 2-turn clock attack with hers. I mean, I know my opponent has Persist in their hand, so like it's not worth, no. Maybe we should have done this a little bit ago. Sick of it. Okay, my own Persist. Yeah, still, they have Persist. I'm just not gonna like lose to Unmarked Grave because I'm impatient here. They used to troll dodges like Prismatic Ending and push pretty well. Maybe a little bit awkward that their main way to kill it is a sweeper, and Ephemerate doesn't protect against that. I do need to do an inventory. Hearse is so cumbersome. Like, you have to, like, manually count how big it is. 1, 2, and it's hard to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So not so if I draw a creature to crew, I guess we have lethal. You could attack, then blink Hearse to have activation up. It's kind of interesting. We'll just kill them instead. Imagine we lose to a channeled Nganjo on the Troll of Khazad-dm into Unmarked Grave Persist. Does it not show if you zoom out? No, it's just star. Okay, so going to game 3. Seeing a bit more of their deck. Does look like these subtleties are pretty garbo. I think I'm still gonna play one Solitude. Maybe Assimilation Aegis, like copying something, is really good. Although we also do the Kaldra seems like it's potentially really potent too. Yeah, we played the Heliod Brew. We went 0-2 with it. Decided to move on to this because I wanted to be able to like play 2 full leagues of this potentially. Teasing it for a while. Kind of knew the Heliod deck was going to be kind of medium, but I thought it had some cool stuff going on. There's a modern qualifier soon too, right? Let's see, the standard super qualifier Sunday. The modern one is on May 1st. Wednesday of next week. Probably play that one on stream. Starts at 7 a.m. I'll wake up. I'll try to wake up. Probably not playing the super qualifier. The standard one on Sunday. Sunday's kind of tough for me to play tournaments. Overlaps with D&D. I'm gonna mulligan to 7. I haven't seen a lot of Satoros yet. There we go. Oh, no white mana. Still, I think I'm keeping this, and I think I'm gonna keep the... Well... I'm gonna bottom the plains, because I need to draw blue source anyways. One of them's a 6. Takes my Satoru. If you could persist Satoru, this deck would be so much nicer. Is what it is. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm going to evoke the Grief this turn. Let me see what I'm drawing next turn before I do that. Ooh, Hearse. Then we can persist, and then we can Ephemerate. Okay, so we'll take the Thoughtseize. It has been a while since I've seen a Vindicate in Modern. A card that I really thought was going to be, like, so much better. Morning, Frey. Hope you're doing well today. Good to hear from you. Thank you for the 46 months. Free Palestine, indeed. Well, then. Wait, is that Caves of Koilos? Okay, so we're being vindicated. I feel like if they just vindicate my Backstreet, I just never draw a land. It'd be such a funny way to lose. Them drawing the second vindicate. Instead, they target my Grief. So their hand is just a persist, and I've got this unlicensed Hearse. I'm almost disappointed, huh? Vindicate would have been 100% more playable with Shaman around. So 100% times 0. Maybe. Yeah, maybe it would have been better. Okay, so we get to go Satoru, and then... I'm not sure how aggressively we should be drawing 2 with the Ephemerate here. King, 13 months. Thank you. Welcome back. We O2'd with Bill. It was a close second match, but I knew the deck was kind of borderline, but was doing like a lot of cool stuff. But typically, like when these kind of when these kind of like cool decks with like interesting ideas that are like maybe a little dopey. I don't know if that's the right word. Probably not the right word, but you know what I mean. Like if it's not panning out, I just kind of like to pivot to the backup deck. Okay, if their one unknown card is a fatal push, we get blown out pretty bad. With them having only one unknown card, I'm okay. Using the Ephemerate as a nice 1 mana draw 2. Their hand is Persist mystery card at the moment. Persistery card. Draw a Troll of Khazad-dm and a Thoughtseize. Might as well. Fire this off. Take the rights. just gonna surveil here. I don't think I need to. Don't think I need to cycle this troll necessarily. Yeah, I guess they assumed I was playing a bunch of counters, but I'm not. So Twirl not having ninjutsu equal to mana cost feeling flavor fail. I mean, the card is already so good. It's kind of hard to imagine that it could just also have ninjutsu on it, but it works with ninjutsu, which at least is something, right? My opponent doesn't have a black-white surveil land in their deck. That's probably a mistake. Could evoke to draw a card. I'll just cast. And it doesn't seem like I need to hold up the Hearse activation since they have no cards in their hand. I just took their Persist. We hit them for 8 this turn. We're 1 point short of lethal next turn. Could turn off the Sage you tap. Can't play duels with Sundering Titan. Oh, I guess that's why they have the caves, huh? Okay. 3 mana, 3/2. Weird match. I just want to play against one speedy opponent today. Because the opponent's playing a lot of dopey stuff. Okay, mulligan the 7. Keep the 6. Opponent's playing Gigantha. Maybe I should... Let's put back actually Subtlety. I may want to Solitude Ephemerate here, huh? To like Domain Zoom. Jund Persist Written 6. Highway Robbery is cool. Squirming Emergence is cool. Stitcher Supplier looks to be kind of weird here, where... Oh, I thought this was the Surveil land. Sorry. I'm going to Shock, I guess. Like playing Stitcher Supplier, I tend to like to have like 8 cards you can mill over for value in this deck, and you have the Archons, which I would count as milling over for value if you were to mill it over. Not gonna, can't push, and I don't think I'm just gonna Solitude Ephemerate, or Subtlety will maybe just Teferi bounce the Scion, or maybe my opponent will commit a bit more into the Solitude Ephemerate, and we'll go for that. The Stitcher Supplier looks like it works pretty well with the Squirming Emergence, but you only have 1. Could you play more? I don't know. The Pillage the Bogs look kind of cool. Yeah, I think I would be inclined to just not play the suppliers if possible, but you certainly could. Okay, let me go ahead and Surveil, then push the Brawler, then Teferi bounce. Let's go Graveyard this. A little late for Grief Scams. My life total matters a lot in this matchup, so I'm not going to Shock and Hallowed Fountain to be able to, if I top deck, or Hardcast Subtlety if I top deck any land. Yeah, I feel like I would just not want to play the suppliers. I would also think that Seasoned Pyromancer would be better than Fable of the Mirror Breaker in a deck that's playing Not Dead After All and Persist. I'd probably just try like... I might be playing 19 lands 4 Written 6 instead of 3 and 20. I might try to play the 4th Squirming, or 4th Pillage the Bog, just get a better idea of how that card plays. Okay, flames me down to 7 life points. I've been at lower life totals. I've been at higher life totals. So are we going to commit to Solitude Ephemerating? We get Teferi bounce again. I think we'll go Solitude Ephemerate, and then playing the Coat gives us maybe extra value off of our Ephemerate. Yeah, we hit another Coat, so we can go Solitude Ephemerate, the Solitude, then rebound the Ephemerate on the Coat if they don't play another creature, which they're less likely to play another creature because they should know that we're about to rebound an Ephemerate. getting our Lightning Helix machine online. Also, my opponent has 2 burn spells in their hand. They have 2 burn spells in their hand. One of them has, it can't be Bolt Bolt, it has to be Flames Bolt or Flames Flames. Highway Rubber here is pretty cool. A lot of thoughts. I would probably play 4 Pick Your Poison in the sideboard too, just because you want to be able to like bring it in and kill like a Hearse, kill a Leyline. Just such an important sideboard card. Okay, opponent concedes. We'll definitely accept a concession here. This matchup is one that I've definitely like respected a little bit more in this build. Like the main deck Teferis are just like real big dynamic changers. I think I'm gonna bring in the Dawnbringer Cleric. I'm gonna bring in the extra fatal pushes. I'm gonna cut the Thoughtseizes. I think I'm also bringing in these Lorans. And then as far as what to cut, I wonder if you could cut the Stoneblade package completely. It's just kind of slow. We could do this, then we could play Tishana's Tidebinder. Tidebinder's pretty solid against them. It's also kind of slow. I don't necessarily love having all these 3-drops. But Tidebinder's pretty good against Kavu and Leyline Binding, and they also have a ton of fetch lands. I could play a Thoughtseize over like Tidebinder number 3. We got a lot of zeros. Let's give this one a go. One of Thoughtseizes cracked me up. Yeah, I know that like if it was 2 Thoughtseizes, nobody would bat an eye. 1 Thoughtseize is like, what is going on? But it's also like the first Thoughtseize is just kind of nice. It's like a lot of times I don't know that you want to draw. I don't know that you want to draw 2 Thoughtseizes that often in this deck, but I think you're pretty happy to draw the first copy. I'm gonna mulligan my 7 probably. Even to find Dawnbreaker Cleric Horde. Well, this deck is like way more of a Dawnbreaker Cleric deck, where like we're like a slow Ephemerate control deck, but like an Aether Vial Humans deck. I'm gonna keep playing. I'm gonna keep playing the 2/2 instead. Okay, I'm clicking this keep button. I'm gonna put back the Tidebinder, I think, over the Solitude. Would love to draw a black card so I don't have to pitch the Satoru to grief, but I will if I have to. We also can't cast Satoru at the moment, so wouldn't be the biggest loss, I guess. Huh. Opponent says, I'm all in. Okay, so rebound Ephemerate. On nothing. Your turn. Good draw. They also have Gigantha. Teferi. What do you think about YOLO 1 Aether Vial and creature decks? In my time as a modern streamer, I have never found the term creature decks to be a helpful descriptor of anything. Modern is a really weird format. There's not any kind of like cohesive vision for creature decks. Like you could name any 2 creature decks in Modern are drastically different. You have to take every deck individually. Like Zoo is a creature deck, one of the main creature decks even. I don't know if I would play one of Vial. One of Vial and Yawgmoth? Maybe Genius, you know. Just all depends. Merfolk. We played 4 Vials in that one, you know. I've played 4 I've actually played 4 Vials in Yogg before. With the Imperial Recruiter, which can find Yogg, damn it. Okay. Loran is kind of weird here. I think I'm gonna bottom it. I know my opponent can draw a Scion, but I do have like more outs to the Scion too. I really want to draw a blue land, so I just have everything up. Weird matches so far. Okay, so we'll take a look at their 2 lands in hand. Clock established. We draw a blue source, we're just like, life is so easy here. Alright. Oh no, I have to get Surveil land. Because I already have my 1 of Watery Grave in play. So we'll see if we get super subtlety or something. Sorry for rhyming. Push is a pretty good card against them. I'm gonna go and bottom it because it does seem like the main way that we would lose this game would be to Scion. So let's like just maybe try to find an answer to Leyline or Scion. We can start subtletying them next turn, of course. And I'm also going to be like, I think I just don't care that much about the 2 damage. I care a little bit more about making sure that a top-decked Ragavan is not that good. Getting Loran was still better. Still unlocks Grief. You cannot persist Loran, if that's what you're saying. Okay, they drew a Leyline of the Guild Pact. Okay, so now we're just going to hold up our Hardcast Incarnations for a long time. Although I guess Teferi bounce Binding and then Grief the Binding is pretty sick play. Okay, kind of can't help myself. Seems fine. Or do you always apologize for rhyming? It's just kind of like something I just started saying and never stopped. It's like an inside joke on the stream, you know. Draw a lot of spells. Keep this one. Put us on a Mull to 6 on the play. Leading on Myconsith Gardens, Amulet. Dude, we've been playing against so much Amulet lately. Must be good again. This matchup I think is pretty solid. You know, we have 4 subtleties in the main, a bunch of Tidebinders on the side. I'm gonna save the Troll for Grief probably. Getting Surveil is also pretty nice. So the problem with keeping this Prismatic Ending is that my opponent does just have Myconsith Gardens, but it's probably still fine to keep. We don't talk about leaks on this channel. I tend to just prefer to focus on, you know, new set and stuff and just wait for official spoilers. So any questions about leaks get deleted. I would never even become curious about a brainstorm leak in Modern. Who cares? Alright, so let's go ahead and grab Coat. Draw land, we can get Satoru, activate Coat, draw a card. We'd also just activate Coat, see what we see, and maybe hold up Ephemerate. Okay, so what is this Grazer accomplishing? Great. People just don't sandbag their Grazers enough. Like you need to be holding it for a ritual instead of just not advancing your board state at all. I think I'm actually gonna go cast Satoru though. Hold up Solitude Ephemerate with Satoru in play, and then we just get to Ephemerate the Stoneforge end of turn. Draw two to our other 2 equipment. Do you normally hold Satoru until you can put a creature in play without casting? It depends. Just depends on the board state. That is definitely a pretty reasonable thing to do in a lot of situations. Yes, but like everything, just always depends. Okay, so let's get the Aegis. Doesn't really matter because I'm gonna go in response to this Ephemerate. I'm gonna use the Coat. I guess it does matter because maybe I would find something I'd rather Ephemerate here, like a Grief. Prismatic Ending, which I would love to have in my hand, but if we can't rebound it, or we can Teferi bounce it to hand maybe later. Oh, and I should have stacked this different because if I draw my Coat, it would have been pretty bad. Thankfully, that's not what happened. I've drawn a Grief. I don't have a black card at the moment, so seems like I should cast my second coat, and then if we draw a black card off that, we can evoke the grief. Subtlety would be a good draw too. Nice. Going off this game. Concedes for information. Satoru is a crazy, crazy card in the stack. Okay, so nice to be up a game against Amulet Titan. I'm gonna bring in a couple sideboard cards. 10. I've grown weary of losing to Amulet Titan. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the Teferi Fun Ravelers. I'm gonna cut the second Cryptic Coat. I'm going to go down at least the fourth Solitude. Probably cut the second Fatal Push too. I think one push is probably a pretty reasonable number. I think we can cut the Persists. Maybe I don't want to play this Coat. Or the Aegis. The Aegis is kind of sick to like steal a Titan though. Let's keep the Aegis in. I know it kills Dread. I'm just gonna cut the. I think this is the weakest. What is over sideboarding? We've been playing against Titan like 3 times a day all week. Not that I think this matchup is particularly bad, I guess, but I'm just coming prepared to class. Can keep this. We can get a blue pitcher for our Subtlety, so we can at least have turn 2 Subtlety up, and we turn 2 Subtlety, turn 3 Loran. Is Kaldra losing line against Resolve Titan? Yeah, it's just kind of slow. I tend to like really like sort of Feast and Famine against Titan. Because like you just get to like pressure their hand and then hold up mana. Okay, I'm definitely gonna keep the Satoru here. Do I feel like I need to Stoneforge Mystic this turn, or can I Satoru? I'm gonna Satoru. I have the Solitude up still. Very good chance that they're waiting for like the second amulet off the saga for them to really go off. Makes a construct. Pretty fast too, huh? Okay, blue card is huge here. It's also black for grief. I'm gonna hold it for the Subtlety this turn though. We'll just play Loran, kill the saga. Killing the saga makes it hard for them to copy the amulet, right? That's an Oran Reef the Vastwood. What's that doing there? Did I see that right? Roxanne! You don't have to go in the Titan deck. Ah! That scared the shit out of me. So I'm taking the Grazer. Ah! PT 9 months, thank you, welcome back. She was already in the room. I did have no idea she was even in the room. Each draw card is pretty dangerous. We can just chill. Maybe I should just have Solitude of this construct already. Yeah, so I should just Solitude the construct out in for 2. Let's wait a turn though. Fatal Push and kill creatures flying. Tell me I'm wrong. Well, in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, if you knock a creature that's flying prone, they fall to the ground. I don't actually think it makes a lot of sense for flying creatures to be immune to being knocked prone. I think it makes sense for them to be hittable. Can you bind your own evoke trigger to creature alive? Yeah, I think you can. Should be able to. Okay, so let's go Solitude this construct. If I draw Ephemerate, I'm not saving the Solitude. Nice. So we'll attack first. I think one thing this deck could use maybe is 10 more sideboard cards for Titan. Ten more. Okay, 3-0. Big believer in this deck. And I know it's like taking us like, yeah, it's so much hideaway to do. I've been loving the hideaway decks. Opponent has revealed Kihira. Keep against Kihira. Probably mulligan in the blind. Love Spyborn, don't need it. Don't hate your deck this much. Yes. I mean, Titan has just been so popular lately. I just like all of my decks are playing a lot of anti-Titan cards. So I should be pretty safe to just play the Stoneforge Mystic. If my opponent kills it, we have this Cryptic Coat to like play, and then they shouldn't be able to counter the Cryptic Coat because they spent their turn killing the Mystic, and then we can maybe Ephemerate whatever we cloak. Ephemerate to save Troll. Swears Loran Titan will be present. Someone even brought Force of Despair. Yeah, I've been thinking about Force of Despair lately. Force of Despair was like very quietly a big winner with the Violent Outburst ban, where like against like Living End and Rhinos, now you're always going to be able to to get them. You know what I mean? You're always going to be able to. Ooh, another Stoneforge. Pretty sure I'm supposed to play Coat instead of Stoneforge because of Teferi. And then there's a Grief, which is a pretty good Ephemerate target here. Dude, Coat is just so good in this kind of shell. Preordain. Yeah, Force of Despair seems like maybe if like Living In is on the rise, if Titan's also really popular, like I could see sideboarding Force of Despair. I thought to persist Troll there. So that we want to take a line that's good against Teferi Time Raveler here. My opponent probably has 4 Teferis in their deck. Persisting Troll is really bad against Teferi. This is really good against Teferi because they can't bounce the Coat token. So if they bounce the Cloak, that's okay. Cloak has an ETB, and then we get to kill the Teferi with our Ward 2/2. Wait, they're not trying to kill the... Oh, they're marching here. Well, opponent, you are going to be... Sorry you did that. Yeah, I think that the biggest thing holding back Cryptic Coat as a house in Modern is it has too many words on it and people don't know what it does. Okay, let's go ahead and take the ring. Then I'm going to Swamp Cycle for just to surveil land, and I'm just going to hold up the other Ephemerate. I'm not going to draw step Ephemerate them, I think. Keeping that on top for sure. Well, I guess draw step is better against Ring, it's better against Teferi, it's better against Supreme Verdict, it's better against Prismatic Ending, it's worse against exactly Leyline Binding, because they can't even Solitude me. So of course they're gonna draw Leyline Binding. Oh man. War never changes, huh, Esther? If the door was open, she would have said yeah. So they should probably evoke. They also forgot Kihira here. Maybe they're trying to surveil, but we'll see if they evoke their Subtlety. Go to 0 cards. Yeah. The card you put in buff with Coat, you could normally wouldn't be able to flip it right outside of blink effects. If it's a creature, you can just pay the mana cost and turn it back into a creature. But if it's not a creature, that's the case, yeah. But in this deck, you can Ephemerate it, and then you can put an equipment or a Teferi or a land into play, which is pretty nice. My opponent didn't Kahira in hand, so maybe it's better to double spell. Yeah, let's double spell. You know, I like one thing is they forgot Kahira last turn, maybe, although they didn't because they have the archive. Okay, but in general, you should like just think highly of your opponent. You should assume that they aren't fucking up, and then in the long run, that'll work up. Okay, got no cards in their hand. They're really playing March of Otherworldly Light in their deck. Dang, it really had to be exactly binding. They couldn't have Solitude, they couldn't have marched. They drew a Supreme Verdict. That's fine. One grief, please. With a side of discarding Leyline Binding. Yeah, second time we've done that today. Opponent would never forget about Kahira. We don't talk about Kahira. Pretty sure I'm just gonna play Code. Don't really. At the moment, my fear of Kahira is minimal, but non-zero. Ooh, Troll of Khazad-dm is a good cloak. It's kind of wins games out of nowhere. We know they have subtlety. No, they pitched they have no subtleties. They pitched the other one to the first one. And right now their only card in hand is Kahira. They surveil another breeding pool into the yard. They play their 3-mana 2/2. I'm playing 3-mana 2/2s. We're all playing 3-mana 2/2s this game. Gonna bounce the coat. I'm really tempted to just flip. I guess I'll just go attack with both. If they block, I'll flip, and if they don't, we'll do something else. Thoughts on the Azurus Mill decks that did well last weekend? Not really. I think congrats to them. Good job. Okay, Pendings out. Pushes out. Tidebinders in. Dawnbringer Cleric I think is better than Loran. Aegis out. Down to like 2 Solitudes, maybe 1 Solitude. Feast and Famine in. Feast and Famine just comes in all the time. Maybe 1 Loran. Maybe not. Yeah, I think Seattle coverage starts in like an hour, maybe 2 hours. Probably end up raiding Amy today, who usually does like PT watch parties. Could play like 1 Hearse, but I feel like having maybe 2 binding answers is nice, but maybe they're boarding out some bindings. I also have Teferi. Let's play a Hearse. Just like having like this big creature in play chilling can sometimes be good. I don't know if I'd bring in another Persist. I don't have a 4th Persist in the sideboard. I'm gonna have 3 in the main. If my opponent boards in Rest in Peace against me, I don't know. I've got lots of answers to it, and it's good against exactly 3 cards in my deck. But I feel like Hearse is just kind of nice against Supreme Verdict decks in general. What matchups is Kaldra for? I like to bring in Kaldra against mostly Yawgmoth. Like Yawgmoth is like not popular enough for me to want to have the Kaldra there. I also bring it in against like Scales, Hammer, obscure creature decks. Not that those 2 are obscure, but other creature decks that like I would bring it in against humans. I would bring it in against Merfolk. I feel like I'm missing one. Oh, I bring it in against Scam usually. Bring it in against Scam usually. Let's keep land number 4 on top. Does a Yogg just might it? They can play might against it. Kaldra is very good against Yawgmoth. think because I've got the Satoru and the Ephemerate, let's go for the code here, huh? Hey, Lucy. Come here. Lucy's been so sweet today. I mean, she's sweet all the time. Sweetest dog in the world. Nice opponents being able to play Kaldra off Voidwalker. Yeah, I mean, Kaldra's pretty swingy in that matchup, but if you can get it into play, a scam like almost can't beat it. I guess, no, maybe that's not true because of Shieldred's Edict. They just make you sack a token. Yeah, I don't know, maybe it's not good there. Dude, just like Stoneforge being like the cleanest 3-for-1 you've ever seen in your entire life is just always so satisfying. Okay, so my opponent probably has a counterspell up here. So what if we just held up Tishana's Tidebinder? Kaldra feels bad against Shock when I play it. Yeah, maybe I'm a little bit outdated, but I tend to like it. I don't know. Don't feel maybe super passionate. We also have the Feast and Famine against Yogg, so, you know, we also have the Aegis. I don't know, maybe we could just not play the Kaldra. I like having access to it at least, but I feel pretty confidently I don't want it in the main deck at the moment. Athena knows that Lucy is sweeter than her. Athena's she's a sensitive baby. Very delicate dog. But she is sweet too. Like Athena's sweet, but like when I say Lucy is the sweetest dog in the world, I mean this like very literally. You can ask Dingo or like PT Mingu maybe. But I would be surprised if there is a sweeter dog than Lucy in the world. Yeah, I did watch the Fall show. It was really, really good. All right, let's cash in a card off Teferi, I guess. Seems like we're going to be playing for the trophy in a second. Okay, hard to imagine that Satoru into Coat doesn't end this game. Yeah, she's definitely a grateful, grateful dog. I guess I could draw Grief too. Although would I even evoke it here? Okay, did not draw one. Found a Subtlety off the cloak. Okay, so they get to cast it to Teferi. That is a blank, mostly a blank card. I guess it, you know, bounces Satoru, draws a card. We have the Tidebinder in play to answer the ring. Shout out to Dawnbringer Cleric, or shout out to what's our War Priest of Thune would be better here. 2/2. Maybe I'm committing a bit too much into land verdict. That'd have to be 2 of the 3 unknown cards. Yeah, Ephemerate cloak cards turns the face up, and you get the ETB trigger, and you get to trigger Satoru. Okay, my opponent is passing the turn at 9 life when I have 9 power in play. An interesting plan. To be fair, the power toughness on Satoru. Wait, we're getting Enganjoed? There, I forgot about Teferi. Okay, we're 4-0. Already did our trophy prediction. Do those. Okay. On the play. No lander. Well. We'll keep put back Plains. Probably put back a fetch land, actually. Put back Marsh Flats. Lead on the Shadowy Backstreet. I'm making an aquarium. Well, I bought an aquarium, but yeah, it's up. I posted some pictures of it on Twitter earlier this week. But I've got the decor all set up. I've got the chemistry finally right. It's a fun little chemistry experiment. Like every day, doing doing the droplets. Or the updates. We've cut the mole drifters because they're like too high on the mana curve. We're playing Teferis instead. Or Teferi's also 3 mana, but is like actual 3-drop mole drifters. A lot of times a 4-drop, unless you have persist. Impacts the board, pitches to both your things. It's freshwater. There's a ooh, no. Not like this. Not to mill. Okay, I think I'm gonna evoke the grief. Three Hedron crabs. So I guess I'm taking Visions of Beyond. And then I'm just going to I think just get this tap land out of the deck, and I'm gonna surveil literally any card to the top. Losing the 5 out of mills and rough. I mean, this matchup I think is really bad. Give some game, of course, but dude, they drew Soul Guide Lantern, so like my persist outs are not even good. Maybe they'll cycle it. They target Coat, which is weird. One of Pendlehaven as colorless land and Convoke Emrakul deck. Bad idea. I mean, it's not the worst idea I've ever heard on this channel. I think that the way Magic the Gathering is at the moment, there are just so many colorless utility lands you could play in like any deck. It's like if you wanted to play a colorless utility land in a deck, there's just room for you. But also just hitting your cards on time usually ends up being the most important thing. This is a brutal game. Achroma, Angel, Fury, and Ephemerate decks. It has protection from white, making it good against this white card land binding. This is Block Kill Scion. Yeah, I would not recommend playing it. It does sound very fun though. So they milled my island. Do you have a fountain left in the deck? Winning this game is not really going to be possible. Who's my pick to win Pro Tour Thunder Junction? Arnie. You can see the list. There's just so many good ones out there, I Gab, Reed, Mingu, Arnie, Nathan, Simon, Javier. They got a lot of crushers out there. I feel there's something in my heart that tells me this is gonna be Arnie's PT. Could I ever win if I drew like a white card and Solitude at Ephemerate? Let's find out. This will be a Kaldra matchup. Seth with the back-to-back would be awesome. I love Seth. Yeah, we did not play against that much mill this week. I did think about boarding an Emrakul. Did not end up actually doing it. I'm bringing the Kaldras. The Tidebinder seem nice. They can lock up crabs. They stop the fields. They also provide pressure, which is nice. I'm going to cut the Assimilation Aegis. I'm going to keep in the 1-mana removal spells. The subtleties seem pretty bad. I am comfortable being above. I'm going to play a sword over the second coat. Hearse seems okay. Hearse play like 62. Add push. I guess I should be playing 4 push 0 pending. Although pending can kill like some other stuff. Ashiok is actually good. Yeah, Ashiok is okay. As it often is. I think I'm more okay here than usually when chat suggests Ashiok. I think we're supposed to push here. We could try to have saved that for Grief, but I'm going to go Satoru into Grief here. Two drowns, huh? Yeah, Arnie is my pick. Arnie, whose last name I can never pronounce. They have another crab, so I think I'm going to pitch the Teferi. Kind of surprised they didn't drown me, but then maybe they just need the mills. Yeah, Hutchin Beth. He's German, sweetie, very, very good player. And he's like young, he's great, he's focused. They drew push? Oh. Gross. So what's wrong with... The last card in hand is a Field of Ruin. I have 41 cards left in my library and no clock. They play Polluted Delta instead of the known Field of Ruin. I draw a clock. They keep a card on top. Clock removed. Okay. Plays the Field of Ruin. Groundhog Day. When Grief attacks and isn't blocked, conjure a copy of Lava Spike and cast it targeting your opponent. $25 cards left in my library after that mill. It's gonna crack this now. We could have looked and seen if there was still a fetchable left, but I think it just crack it. Like the 1 life point doesn't matter. The card in hand doesn't matter. I guess you could bluff something. Also tells my opponent a little bit easier that this is a play. Okay, 24 cards. Fetch land, fetch land. Go, Grief. So they drew Surgical Extraction. No other card would they think this long about? I don't know. Maybe they didn't think that long about it. They bounce a Borrow at my upkeep. So they drew Push. Brutal. What a top deck. Cauldra is still the deck. Okay, my opponent has cast 2 pushes and 3 Drown in the Locks. Their hand is just an Oboro. Can they top deck the 6th removal spell in mill? They play the Oboro. They drew Surgical. They target Ephemerate. Oh, it's Extirpate. No more 7-drop. Tasha Mill's entire deck. I mean, I've got a bunch of Solitude still in the deck. I think we'll be okay. We'll see. You maybe have cursed me. I attack you for 5, opponent. You got to top deck something. Maybe like Crab into Tasha's or Crab into Fractured Sanity. My fault for summoning it, I guess. So they're dead to a removal spell. I don't think I have that many left, if any. Put my opponent down to 1. Can't remember if 1 is equal to or less than 0. Yeah, if they draw Archive Trap, Fractured Sanity, or Tasha's might not do it, but Tasha's probably does it. It really did have to be Crab into one of these. They don't find it. They concede the game. We're going to game 3 for the trophy. Pretty exciting. So let's cut these pendings. Let's add these pushes. Maybe Subtlety is better than Solitude. We have more blue cards, and then it's just like an easier hardcastable threat. Lower mana value for Tasha's, but still higher mana value. They probably boarded out their Tasha's against my like Troll of Khazad-dm deck too. Could play like 1 pending and be like 63. I kind of like that actually. Is the Ashiok viable? It's okay. I think it's worse than our other 3 drops, and we're on the. It's better on the play. We're on the draw. Do split. Okay, gonna go to 6. Keep my 6. Try not to bottom anything against mill, if possible, or graveyard anything against mill. They're just kind of somewhat likely to play a crab than play a land and mill me. No crab. Yeah, but then they just fractured sanity because they saw me surveil a card to the top. Kind of funny. Surgical by Ephemerate. That was my draw for turn, but I guess that's fine. It's not the end of the world, at least. Would have preferred most other draws there, I guess. Yeah, they know about the Tidebinder in my hand. That's pretty relevant. It's true. 49 cards down to 39 cards. 3 mana, exile the top 10. So I guess what I'm going to do here is play the Sword of Feast and Famine with the intention of crewing Hearse, then equipping the sword to the Hearse next turn. Guess we'll see if they have an Archive Trap. Targeting my own graveyard because of Drown, of course. I'm genuinely a proponent of sideboard Emrakul. Yeah, me too. I play it. I don't always play it, but I play it more often than like almost anybody else, I feel. I play a lot of sideboard Emrakuls. Okay, they have a push. I'm gonna go ahead and target my own Strand, so Drown can't kill my Satoru. 3 cards in their hand. So they can draw my Satoru now. 2 cards left in their hand. But I just have another one. I can go Satoru plus equip. Protection from black's pretty good. Gonna play Stoneforge instead now. Kaldra's still in the deck. Protection from black. 32 cards in the library. They're drawing up to 3 cards in their hand. Cycles of Fractured Sanity. I go down to 28 cards in the library. Plays Field of Ruin. Cannot field my basic planes. But I have no more basics to search. Kind of weird. I'm actually just going to go attack. They've got 2 cards in their hand, and they're likely both interactive. Oh, land. So I'm gonna cast this Tidebinder. And I'm gonna cast I think Satoru over the Teferi. Just to get another creature into play. All comes down to this. They Surgical Grief. Down to 25 cards in library. They play their last card, which is a basic island. I think we just deal as much damage as possible. Put them down to 4. I have 24 cards in my library. We'll see what they top deck. Doesn't seem like there's a lot. Looking pretty good. Look, Mom, no legs. Thank you for the 8 months. All right, we each draw a card. We undo my auto yields. 5-0, baby. First league since the update. Glad to get... I think it's our first tutorial trophy. What was the other thing we trophied with? I think it's the second trophy of the season. Your initiate with the 14 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. It's gonna bother. I can't remember. We'll look it up. Oh, Phoenix. We trophy with Phoenix, right? Thank you. Thank you. Cool. Feels pretty good. Open an Atraxa. Open a Delighted Halfling. Open a Thoracle. Coffers. Cool. Yeah, let's run it back.